Pearpree, hello, how are you?
Hello, thank you so much
Of
for
course, where are
accepting.
you from?
So I'm currently residing in Europe,
Love it. What part of Europe?
Central Europe. So
Very cool. How
I
can we help
am
you today?
married. Yeah, so I am married, and okay, and I don't really want to talk and share a lot of information, but I have someone that I've noticed, for example, like when I speak to him, he would take things literally. And when there's a joke, he wouldn't understand it. And when we are in a group of friends, for example, I'm with my friends and he's there, um, he would like zone out sometimes. It would feel like he's in a different planet or like he's, you know, and like he's not against therapy,
Yeah,
like, but I don't know how to tell him like respectfully that I think that he needs to be evaluated.
yeah, yeah. And that's a hard conversation to have with somebody. And I get this question a lot of when is it appropriate to tell someone that you think they should be evaluated for autism, and it really depends on your relationship with them, and how open they are. Typically, it's best to wait for them to bring something up, like say, "I don't understand why this is so hard for me," or "I don't know why I'm just not understanding this," and that could
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
good.
he doesn't understand a lot of things. And to be honest, like I am kind of scared because I have a friend like whose husband has autism,
Yeah,
but their child had like very severe autism. She said her son is nonverbal, and I'm also like a little scared about that. So
yeah,
hopefully my children are not going to be this way.
yeah,
Even if they are, I'm going to try to help them. Like
yeah.
of course I'm going to love my children,
Yes,
but
and
it's just that, I don't know how to
there are
tell
some
him,
some clear statistics around this. You should know that most of the time, if a parent is autistic, their child is not going to be autistic most of the time, but it does
Okay.
increase their chance. And so it's about 20% of the time, about 1 in 5, that if you have autism or your spouse has autism, that your child is also going to have autism. But that also doesn't mean that that they're going to have profound autism or have significant support needs. And so keep that in mind. And I wouldn't necessarily say that that should make it so whether or not you decide to have kids, but it should determine whether or not you or how closely you look for autism in your children. And that could be if you're talking about your partner, your spouse, one thing that you could do is talk about, hey, look, like I think it would be good for us to see if we have autism or ADHD so that we can know like what are the chances our kids are going to have that as well. Not to determine whether or not we have kids, but to make us more aware of how vigilant we should be with our kids. So that can be one approach that you take with it. But really, the idea here is you want him to have support. What do you feel like would change if he had a diagnosis of autism? What would change? What would that mean for you or for him?
For me, it would mean that I would know how to deal with his stubbornness because like he can get really stubborn about things.
Yeah.
And here's the funny part, like he would be stubborn today, but then tomorrow, like after some talking, he would kind of like be a little flexible.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's a hallmark of it or not. Is it?
Well, it
Is it one of
could
the symptoms?
be. What I recommend. So there are screeners. I have one linked, the RADS, that you can take, and you could take it thinking of him as well, just to as your perspective, or you could be like, hey, look, I was on this live today, and I heard someone talk about autism, and it made me like I saw this test. I scored and this test will give you a score out of 42, and if it's over 14 that indicates that you should likely go and be evaluated. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's a validated test that you could just say, "Hey, I came across this live. I took it. I got this score. You should take it. What are you gonna get?" And have him take it and see what he gets. Those screeners are kind of the first things to do. Here's the thing: is you knowing he has autism or thinking he has autism isn't going to change much. Let me tell you, when adults get diagnosed, the number one thing that it does for a person is it validates their lived experience. Your spouse is
Mhm.
not the
And I
enemy.
think
If
that's
Yeah,
important
of
for
course.
him, yeah.
Yeah, it's not about you feeling validated that this is why he acts that way. It's so that he knows, hey, socially, life has been hard for me, much harder than everyone else, and there I have an explanation for that now. And like I understand why I've had a hard time making friends. I understand why I don't always understand the unspoken rules of society. I understand why, I'm socially awkward sometimes. And that understanding goes a long way. That's the first part. The second part is the number one support for adults in this kind of situation is a therapist, so that you can talk to, who specializes in autism. And so if you have a diagnosis, that means you can then seek out a therapist who is specifically trained with autism. And that is
Okay.
meaningful.
Yeah, so I do have like one important question. So he is so I don't know. I think I read it somewhere, but I'm not sure. It was just someone talking. So I heard that people with autism are really good with people with ADHD. And his coworker is diagnosed with ADHD and like he keeps talking about her. He's like, like she's my not she's my, but he said that he's her only support, like her only friend, and he's the only one that that she trusts and feels like they have
They
friendship with.
understand each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that like people with autism go well with people with ADHD?
Um, I haven't read any research on that, and in my experience, it's kind of the opposite because ADHD craves novelty and change and newness, and autism craves rigidity and keeping to a routine and
Oh
avoiding
yeah,
sensory
yeah.
overload, and sometimes that can conflict. However, if anyone that's neurodivergent, it builds empathy towards other people, and so it could. I just don't have any data on that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and speaking about routines, he
Yeah.
is obsessed with his routine.
Oh, really? Okay.
Um, he, yeah, yeah, like he is obsessed with it, and also he's been playing this game for like I think over 8 years. And for me, I was really weirded out. Like, who plays the same game for 8 years?
Yeah. So there's kind of the special interest going on. That is definitely a hallmark of autism. Um,
Yes, and like he has this special routine. Like he usually plays it before he goes to bed, and
yeah.
it's been this way even when he travels. I'm
Wow.
like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a routine for sure. Look, my recommendation to you, what I would do in your situation is I would just make it a game and be like, "Hey, look, I took this test. This is what I got. Some of these questions made me think of you. You should take this. What do you think?" And if you have a loving and caring relationship, like I feel like my wife and I could say something like that to each other and it would be totally fine. And, we're supportive of each other no matter what. And, but just be cautious that you don't come in making it look accusatory or like you're casting judgment on him. But, yeah,
Oh no,
that's
no,
my
no. And you know
recommendation.
what? And I mean, like for me personally, I'm totally not judging him.
Yeah.
I just want to know what's going on because I feel like something is off. And even my family noticed that. Like
Yeah.
they were telling me like so my father, he said, like I really like your husband, but like sometimes I feel like he's not here with us in the conversation. And I think maybe it's not even autism. Like maybe it's something else. Like I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
key isn't finding an autism diagnosis, it's getting clarity. And you as, the spouse, that's you may be able to do that in a very loving way. Hey, thank you so much for coming up. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next person, but Per, thank you
Yeah,
so much
yeah,
for
thank
being
you.
here.
Bye.
All right, bye.